Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for my first video tarot reading. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm finally doing it. January was a bit crazy, so things have calmed down a bit, and now we're going to be doing February 2nd to February 9th. So this will be a collective reading. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the signs. I'm just going to kind of see how this goes, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to do 3 shuffles. We're going to do 3 sections. Do internal challenges, external challenges, and just general advice. And we'll see how it goes. So I hope everybody's February is going well. January felt like a whole year, if I'm being honest. I don't know if that was 2 or 3 shuffles, so I'll do one more, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so I really appreciate all the support on Instagram and all that good stuff. And if you don't know me from Instagram, you can find me at Jazargo Shepherd, JZARGO SHEPARD. So I'm going to cut the deck, and let's see what we get. Alright, so I call out the spirit to please help the collective hear and see anything they need to hear and know for the week of February 2nd to February 9th. Yeah, okay. So first section, inner challenges for the week. Okay. So we have the Prince of Wands, 10 of Cups reverse, and the Universe. And so what I'm getting with this is the inner challenges. You may be feeling like something that you were going through with in the past. You come into the realization that maybe it's not what you thought it was. And because of that, you're not sure if you want to continue. Sorry, I put my other headphone in. Prince of Wands, I think, I don't know, it can talk a lot about your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, things you're meant to be doing, things you feel like you're meant to be doing. It could be with like career, with like passionate endeavors and things of this sort. 10 of Cups reversed. It's interesting because 10 of Cups, some people say it can be, emotional fulfillment and stuff like that, or I like to see it as completion of cycles. And so since it's in the inner challenges section, it's in the reverse with the Prince of Wands. I feel like with the universe clarifying all of this, right now is a time to really dig deep and see what wasn't working with you. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm picking up on the feeling of kind of trying to come to terms with the fact that you have to leave some things behind and maybe not pursue certain paths you thought you would be pursuing, or maybe kind of making changes to those paths. So I'm going to go ahead and actually clarify this with my Mystical Cat Tarot deck. As many of you know, I love cats. I do have 3 cats myself. They're very lovely. So we're going to go ahead and clarify these to get any extra messages from Spirit. So 3 shuffles. I can't do that cool thing. You know how people do the second half of the shuffle where they make the cards flutter? I still haven't learned how to do that. So third, I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. I do like this deck because you can't tell when things are reversed. Whereas the Golden Dawn Tarot was one of my favorite decks. But you can tell when something's reversed, and so, I don't know, it's just weird for me. So let's see, we're going to clarify each of these. Got the Sun reversed, the Empress, and Ace of Cups, Ace of C, as they call it in this deck. Set this right here. Yeah, so I feel like it's just kind of reiterating. I mean, the Sun reversed, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise. That's a blessing in disguise card for me. The Empress and the Ace of Cups, I think right now, I think the story I'm getting now, it's like, maybe right now isn't the time to take the action you've been wanting to take. Kind of take some time to kind of rest, replenish. I feel like January was intense for a lot. I mean, 2019 in general was tough. But just going into January, coming out of all of that, integrating everything, has been intense, at least for me. So, the Empress and the Ace of Cups, I feel like really talks about emotional independence, but coming into your own emotional independence, opposed to having to rely on these external circumstances to bring you a sense of emotional independence. And so what I'm getting here is like not so much defining yourself through your career or through your love, or sorry, not through your love, through your relationships. Kind of trying to find a definition of who you are outside of what you thought you were or who you want to be, and kind of finding an inner sense of identification. That's really what I'm picking up on here. And I mean, if we're talking about this in terms of love, I mean, if you want to go into the whole divine partnerships, you have the Empress that can represent, one side of the energies of the relationship. As we all do have the divine feminine energy. I think some people resonate more with divine feminine energy than masculine energy, different balances, but I feel like I definitely resonate more with the feminine side. That said, I feel like if you are dealing with somebody who is more inclined in the feminine energies, it's looking like right now I'm getting the message of like closing up some karmic cycles. So a lot of the readings that I do on my Instagram, when you see them on my stories or just recently on my feed, a lot of it's just channeled from spirit. I'll get little messages and I'll kind of go off of that. So the kind of sentence I got was closing up karmic cycles, kind of finding that internal balance, reclaiming that emotional independence outside of failed, past relationships and things of the sort. So, that's the interesting thing is you can really take these cards any which way. And they tell so many different stories. And that's why I take everything with a grain of salt. If it doesn't resonate, don't make it fit. Energy and time are fluid. So don't even, if it's not something that's, fitting right now, maybe you come back to it, next week or at the end of the week or even the next day. And it just makes a little bit more sense. And if you have any own personal interpretations, definitely take those. I'm only relaying for a collective. So, yeah, I think Spirit's advice right now is to just rest. That's just really what I'm getting, just rest and, understand that while things may have been difficult in the past, that doesn't make you weak for feeling that. It doesn't make you weak for feeling emotionally distraught, or there's nothing weak about, grieving. And I think grieving is a process, and even if it's one of those things where you do feel a little blessed that you're out of it, there can still be that tinge of guilt for feeling happy that something ended. And I think these cards are going to reflect that as well. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the external lessons for the week. Move these over here. Sorry, my space is a little limited. I'm doing this video, so the cards may go off screen. Okay. And go and shuffle again. And I do usually do the bottom of the deck, but I think for this spread in particular, I'm going to wait until the end, until I get to the very end. So 2 more sections. All right, so last shuffle. Sorry if the shuffling's a bit loud. I was trying to set up my microphone, but I was having an issue with the stand. And sorry if the video quality is not the best either. I'm using my phone for the time being. I don't know. Did I cut the deck? My memory has not served me well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull for the external lessons of the week. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I'm picking up on somebody they're just done with the conflict. They're so done. Queen of Swords, 5 of Swords reversed, and the Hermit. I think these cards tell me that somebody is taking that time to really go within. And, this kind of feels like a continuation of the story that's been coming up in the collective readings I've been doing on Instagram. It's as if this person is kind of realizing how their vindictiveness and how their selfishness has caused a lot of conflict. And so they're taking this time to go within. They're taking this time to recognize where they've gone wrong instead of trying to, project everything in the situation. Yeah. It's mainly what I'm picking up with these cards, so we're going to go ahead and clarify it a bit more. So shuffles. One more. Cut the deck. So we have 5 of Cups reversed, 10 of Cups reversed again, and 4 of Wands. Yeah, I feel like somebody here, whether it's you or somebody you're dealing with, they're definitely feeling it. You know, because we have, what stands out to me is the fact that we do have the 4 of Wands. We're surrounded by these cards, the 5 of Cups reversed and the 10 of Cups reversed. So I'm feeling like whoever this Queen of Swords is, I mean, they're feeling the effects of the ending of this foundation. Not necessarily the ending, but just whether it's a phase of separation or whether it's just difficult communication, which can be indicated by the 5 of Swords reversed. Yeah. I'm just kind of, I don't know, I just feel sadness, somberness. No particular message is just kind of an overwhelming, and not overwhelming, but an emotion of disappointment, self-disappointment. Not really sure how to move forward, and indicated by the Hermit, they're just not really sure where to move. Yeah, I think I'm going to clarify this a bit more. The Golden Dawn Tarot. I'm going to clarify the Hermit. So, you know, why is this person feeling, or I mean, what is it going to take for this person to come out of this energy? Whether it's you or somebody else, or advice to come out of that energy. Pentacles. Cups. Yeah. Definitely balance. And it's going back to the internal lessons of the week. That emotional balance is so important. You know, 3 of Pentacles to me, I always see as the card of balance. You know, it governs the earthly realm. So to me, it represents the mind, body, and the soul. And bringing those into balance. Prince of Cups. Giving yourself the love that you may have been rejected of giving to somebody else. Somebody that rejected the love you were giving, give that love to yourself to find that balance, to find that emotional independence. And maybe stop focusing so much on giving to other people when you're not giving enough to yourself. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of the conflict and the selfishness happened. The selfishness comes from, you know, a type of self-protection. You know, it's not always like it's not always a, what's the word? Malevolent, I think it is. I don't know, there's not any malice in the selfishness I'm feeling, this Queen of Swords. It's more of, they needed to do what they felt was best for themselves in that moment, which was, to you, might have seemed more selfish than it did to them, given they were probably protecting themselves and projecting their own pain, stuff that they're facing right now. So we're going to go ahead and move on to just the general advice for the week, and then we'll do the bottom of the decks for both cards, and we will do an oracle also. Okay. I really am feeling like patience is needed right now, both with yourself and the other person you might be dealing with. You know, it's interesting. I don't really go into these readings thinking I'm going to be doing a love reading, but more often than not, it turns into that. And so I never really try to fight it, but I also never try to classify what I'm doing in the reading. I just let it flow. Yeah, excuse my my shuffling skills are not on par. I don't usually do them on camera, so I don't think much of it, but I see a 4 of Cups popping up there, Magician reversed, some pre-shuffle energies. Okay, we're going to cut the deck and see what we get for the overall energy for the week. Not overall advice for the week. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. stop waiting around. Stop staying in situations that you know are going to end in conflict. You know, Queen of Cups, I feel like it can represent, in this context, it can represent somebody that is hurt. You know, I feel like this might actually represent you, the person watching this, while the Queen of Swords might have been the person you're dealing with. I keep hearing, you know, find the silver lining. You know, what I'm getting with the Seven of Swords. And I don't always go off of like the general, most common descriptions. I really just go off what I'm feeling in the moment based from the card. And so what I'm seeing right here with this, I don't even know if you can see it on camera. I don't even know if I can really show it. Can you see? Hopefully. Do the thing that the YouTubers do with the hand. So, I mean, either way, you got 3 swords on each side and 1 sword with a flower in the middle. And so, you know, as you know, like three of Swords is most commonly known as a heartbreak card, the card of disappointments, the card of breakups. And I feel like having it on both sides with the sword of truth in the middle, I feel like that's what the silver lining is. You know, I feel like both of you may have been hurt. Both of you may have been in a place that caused you to hurt each other. And this Queen of Cups, to me, is feeling like somebody that was hurt. I mean, it's the water of water. You know what I mean? The king and the queen, I think it's earth and fire, and then water and air, I think it is. Just off the top of my head, I really don't know if I'm right, don't quote me on that. But with the Hangman in reverse, with these 2 cards, I'm feeling like don't dwell so much on the fact that things went sour. Don't dwell so much on the fact that you were both hurt. Kind of just stop focusing on the negative aspects. Like, recognize the negative aspects of the situation, but don't dwell on them so much. And I actually said we would do the bottom of the deck, and what we have is the Princess of Cups. And yeah, so what I'm getting, since we had the Prince of Cups earlier, it's feeling like this energy of kind of like renewing the childlike nature of the connection. But before that can happen, you have to renew that within yourself. And this is where the whole silver lining comes in. It's kind of like approaching it from a lighthearted point of view. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can see this too well. Usually how I do it on the story. Just finding ways. Oh, you see, it's interesting. I don't know if you can see. She's holding the rose. And so you can see the rose there. And that's why I love this deck. There's so many, not coincidence, synchronicities within the cards. But, yeah, just finding ways to be lighthearted about it. I mean, it's kind of vague, but I think that's different for everybody. You know, I guess one way to do that, at least one way I do it, is just seeing how you've grown and seeing how much growth the situation has brought you, no matter how difficult it's been, which, let's be honest, is more than likely really difficult, something that you probably did not expect to deal with or want to deal with. But, you know, you're here, and there's no sense on dwelling on the fact that you are where you are. You know, I guess in some instances you just have to make the best of what you can. So that is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and clarify this with the Cat Tarot. So I'm going to move this to the side real quick. Yeah, hurt people hurt people. I know it's a cliche, but it happens. And I think that alone is enough for us to recognize the fact that, like, the hurt wasn't personal. Do one more shuffle. Usually never is. People don't intend to do those kinds of things. Got the deck. Okay, we're going to go ahead and clarify these. Yeah. I'll clarify the bottom of the deck with the bottom of the deck. So we have 10 of Wands, or the 10 of Fire as it is in this deck, the Wheel reversed, and the 7 of Swords again. Then we have the 9 of Cups reversed, clarifying the Princess of Cups. Yeah, so I think this is really just a kind of reiteration of what the cards were saying. It's basically just recognize that where you're at right now isn't permanent. You know, it is going to change. There's no point in focusing on what you missed out on. There's really no sense in over self-indulging, if you do drink or if you do smoke or do any of the things, kind of just tailor that. Try not to go overboard. I feel like doing that is usually what makes these things worse. But recognizing the fact that the Ten of Wands here, things may have exploded, things may have come to a precipice, but it's kind of feeling like you're reaching the end of that cycle. You're at the very tail end, integrating everything that happened. But like understanding that takes time, and you can't expect yourself to integrate and heal overnight, and it's something that you got to be patient with. And you can't really force that into a box. You can't force yourself to be like, oh, I'm going to be healed, and oh, I'm going to be okay with this. And recognize that there are going to be days where you feel like, oh, I took a backtrack. I should be healed. I should be over this thing. I should be over this. But this new thing came up, and this thing triggered me. And, recognizing the triggers and not letting them bring you down, but just recognizing them for what they are, and learning the lessons when they arise. Spirit's telling me that is it for this spread. So we're going to close out the reading for the week with an oracle reading. I do love this oracle deck. I actually only have one oracle deck. So if you do watch these videos, if I end up doing more, which I would like to, I do apologize. Perhaps I'll invest in some more, but this deck is very special to me. I think you could see it on the camera. It's a Kuan Yin Oracle deck. So I actually got this deck when I went up to Mount Shasta for like the eclipse in 2017. It was like an eclipse event, and they had a bunch of crystal shops up there. I mean, I swear it was like 4 or 5 within walking distance of each other, and it was a small town. And yeah, that was the time I kind of really got in touch with my divine feminine nature, was healing my divine feminine nature. And that's when I found this deck. I found an entire room. It was a room dedicated to Kuan Yin, and there was statues. It was crazy. I forgot the name of the store. But it was literally just an entire part of the room. Small statues, big statues. It was amazing. And I had never actually, I don't know if I had bought my first tarot deck yet. I think the first one I got was this one here, the Thoth tarot deck right over here, which is actually reminiscent of the Golden Dawn tarot. It's based off the same symbolism. It's like occultism and stuff like that. And so I feel like this deck kind of balanced that all out, because the Book of Thoth tarot deck felt like such heavy divine masculine energy. And this deck here just really balanced out the divine feminine energy for me. And I just really haven't felt the need to buy any other ones. I only really buy another deck when I feel called to it. But yes, enough of my story time. I'm going to cut the deck and see what comes up. Bamboo Moon, card number 1. So without even reading the description, I feel off the bat it's just cycles. If you know anything about bamboo is a very tough plant. It takes a long time to grow. The roots, build a very solid foundation. And with the moon, bamboo moon, I feel like this is talking about just recognizing. Okay, Spirit wants me to say recognizing that your foundation with this person, while shaken in some instances, is very strong. The foundation and the roots have been planted. Whether or not that's going to turn into something more depends on a variety of factors. But it's just kind of like a reassurance that, like, hey, like, y'all both have a lot of love there. Like, focus on that. Even if you're not talking to this person, if you feel guided to seek forgiveness from this person, or you feel like you need to forgive yourself, I feel like this card kind of comes to you to recognize the fact that, hey, this was a part of the building a foundation process, the foundational process for your own emotional independence and their emotional independence. And by building that emotional independence, it kind of creates a fertile ground for both of you to grow into the best versions of yourselves that will either bring you together or bring you apart amicably. That is yet to be determined. Many things are fluid. But it's looking like there's a lot of love there. It's what I'm feeling with this. So we're going to go ahead and going to read Card number 1, Bamboo Moon. So, it says, did you know that there are no mistakes in the universe, and all events, circumstances, relationships, and situations are unfolding in perfection with the divine intelligence of the divine plan? Any apparent delay is in your favor. If something is happening for you right now, then that is perfect too. Divine timing is perfection. It is safe to trust this now. You might be wondering if anything is ever going to come together for you, or if it seems to be happening quickly now. If you are even ready for it, the answer is yes. Divine timing is always at play, whether we are letting go or trying to force something. An intelligent power that is vaster than our comparatively limited vision is always in flow, and we are part of that. We can find so much peace and joy when we realize this and learn to trust and relax in the unfolding of our divine destiny. Chinese bamboo helps us learn this wisdom of divine timing. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, because this is where I learned it from. So, for about 5 years of its early life, not much appears to be going on. As the small roots attempt to ground themselves, yet when they are... let me read that again, I messed that up. For about 5 years of its early life, not much appears to be going on as the small roots attempt to ground themselves. Yet when they are ready, those roots are exceptionally strong, and the plant suddenly grows like wildfire. There was much more going on in preparation for powerful growth than what appeared to be at the humble beginnings of the bamboo plant. So it can be with divine timing. There are periods when not much appears to be going on at all, and we can begin to expect that this will always be the case. Yet this inner preparation time allows for swift development and growth when we are ready. When the time for patient and thorough preparation is over, our growth can happen very quickly, and we might then be concerned that it is all too fast and we cannot keep up with it. But of course we shall keep up with it, because the inner preparation has allowed us to develop a good foundation of spiritual strength. Just like the cycles of the moon, that shift from hidden light to full splendor of solar reflection, only to shift again, your unfoldment is just a matter of timing. You are being encouraged to trust in divine timing and know that all is well in your world. Rejoice. Your dreams and divine destiny are manifesting right now, whether it is obvious or not, and all will continue to unfold according to your highest good. Be at peace, beloved. You are not forgotten, nor are your gifts being over or underestimated. All is well in the divine plan unfolding of which you are a part. Yes, it's very nice. And I feel like it's very fitting. Very, very fitting. I think this card is that's the thing I love about the Oracle cards and doing them at the end. It just kind of wraps up the entirety of the reading. So for the internal challenges, I think the main takeaway, the main theme was, emotional independence. Really accepting where we are in our journey instead of trying to force our vision of where we think we should be, and trying to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to be frustrated that we aren't where we want to be or where we think we should be, because I think that's a part of the learning process as well. And with the external lessons, what was it? It had a lot to do with, it was kind of the same, it kind of was giving advice on the emotional independence, wasn't it? Really taking that time to reflect on how things have gone, reflect where you've gone wrong, reflect where the other person has gone wrong, and recognize that this is just a milestone in a relationship. Whether or not that continues is always up to you. It's always up to the other person. Free will plays a big role in all these things, I feel. I think it's a beautiful way to end the reading. I do actually like to, they have this deck, it's by Alana Fairchild, it doesn't say, yeah. So she includes little healing meditations, and I really, really love them. So I'm going to read this one here. So imagine that you are sitting amongst a lush green forest of bamboo, abundant, cool, and serene. Overhead the moon rises, and you notice that it has grown full. Soft light, serenity, and peace abounds. You become aware of vast fields of bamboo, golden in the moonlight. The bamboo moves peacefully with the breeze. Feel the peace and recognition in your heart. You don't need to do anything other than just feel it. You belong to nature. You too shall flourish. Just feel it. Yes. Feel the healing of the bamboo. Focus on your emotional independence. And learn to forgive yourself and learn to be patient. you're exactly where you need to be, as cliche as it is. I mean, I feel like that's just what it is. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me for hopefully the first of many readings. I actually had a lot of fun doing this. I've been kind of nervous of doing this for a while. I've been wanting to do this since last year, and I kept finding excuses to put it off. I'm like, oh, I need this, or I need to get a mic stand, or I need to, not a mic stand, I need to get a video stand, I need to get a microphone to use, figure out all the equipment. I have a microphone to use and I have equipment to figure it out, but I just for some reason just didn't feel right doing it. I wanted to make sure I was in the right place to do it. As some of you that have gotten readings with me before, I will sometimes let you know, like, hey, like, I'm gonna delay the reading a little bit. I want to make sure I'm in the right headspace. Yeah. So given that this went pretty well, I'm thinking I might actually start offering video readings. It wouldn't necessarily be a video chat, but it would be me doing a reading like this. If you are interested in a reading, I don't have my website up yet, but please contact me through email. If you follow me on Instagram, you can send me a DM. Email is usually easier to keep track of. Sometimes Instagram doesn't notify me when I get message requests, and it actually deleted a bunch of my message requests when they updated the messaging system. But yes, so yeah, if you would like to book a personal reading, just send me an email, DM me. Thank you all very much for joining me. I wish you a blessed week. I have you all in my prayers. Yeah, so love and blessings to you all, and take care. Bye, till next time.